Hello, my fellow readers. This is Ghost Readers in the Sky. Today I have some book recommendations for you. Here in the part of Idaho where I live, the smoke from wildfires has been just more than we've seen in a long time. The air quality index is such that the Weather Service is saying don't go outside. I'm recording this on July the 30th, 2026. And because of the fire around us and the smoke that I am seeing daily right now, and that's keeping me inside reading books, I thought I would bring to you today 9 book recommendations about wildfire. There are quite a few places you can start, but I think it's reasonable to start with Timothy Egan's book, The Big Burn. This is about a fire that happened in 1910 in northern Idaho, and it led to a lot of changes in federal fire policy. Second is Norman Maclean, Young Men and Fire. Norman Maclean wrote about the Man Gulch fire in Montana. 1949 is when the fire took place. I think there were, of the 15-person smoke jumping crew that got caught in this fire, I think there were 2 survivors. I have been to the Man Gulch area. Fire damage, but you can see the terrain and just how if the fire comes up, there's no place to go. This is in Montana, not too far from Helena. And it's probably the first book I read about fire. I haven't read it in quite a while, but it has stuck with me for literally decades. The next one on my list is from Rocky Barker, who is an Idahoan. And he wrote a book about the fires of Yellowstone, the fires that burned through there in 1988. The book is called Scorched Earth. The policy was at the time to, in national parks and other wild areas, just to let the fire do what fires do. And this fire, again, made the federal government re-examine what practices they wanted to do with fire. I think that's part of what I like about these books, is it shows how much hard work there is in fighting fires. It's not for the meek. In 2013, there was a firefighting unit called the Granite Mountain Hotshots. They were based in Arizona, and during the Yarnell Hill fire of 2013, of the about 15-member crew, 14 died in this fire. The other firefighter was away from the rest of the crew doing other essential fire things, but he, as the survivor, wrote a book. It's called Granite Mountain. And then the journalist Fernanda Santos wrote a book called The Fire Line. So she comes in from a journalistic point of view, interviews the families, interviews the townspeople, gets as much information as she can, and really tells a compelling story that's personal for each of those firefighters, and also talks about the dangers of fighting wildfire. So there are 5 books about specific fires and everything around those fires. I want to talk about some general wildfire books, and I'm going to start with Nancy Sule Hammond. She wrote a book called The Last Lookout on Dunn Peak. She and her husband Dunn spent 1972 and 1973 at this fire lookout in Idaho in the St. Joe National Forest. And this is about her time that they spent really cut off from society and watching for fires to spark. Another author who is not known much at all outside of Idaho, because she made her name writing trail guides for backpacking in the Idaho mountains. Her name is Margaret Fuller. After she finished writing trail guides, she still wanted to write, and so she wrote a couple of books about ecosystems. One is called Mountains and the other is called Forest Fires. Came out in 1991, and it examines a lot of fires in the American West basically through the 1980s, focusing on the ecosystems, what fire does that's good, what fire does that is bad, how it impacts human communities. Really fascinating book that's hard to come by, but if you can find a copy, it's worth reading. And then final one in this section, Nick Mott wrote a book called This is Wildfire. He wrote this in 2023. He himself is from Montana. And this is really about the human interaction with wildfire from a non-firefighter perspective. This is, if you're going to live in the mountains, if you're going to live in the forest, if you're going to live someplace where fire could naturally come and threaten your house, what do you do? So there's information about how to fireproof your house and the land around it. There is some special information about insurance that you should get to protect yourself against fire in case that does catch up. There's a lot of information about how to evacuate, how to have that plan, how to have the go bag, how to be ready to leave. If you live in forest or rangeland or anything that can burn, this is a good book to know about how to plan for surviving a fire and protecting the people and things in your life. And finally, I just have to add this comic book. It came out first in 1960, The True Story of Smokey Bear. I remember getting copies of this in elementary school, and I don't know how many copies I've had over the years because I would read it so much that I would wear it out. So I have no idea how many times I've read this comic book, and I do have a copy here in this house somewhere. And there you have it, 9 books about wildfire that I think are worth reading. And this is a good time for that just because it is fire season. Hope you found something here that piques your interest and that you have a chance to go out and learn a little more about wildfire. As always, I'm glad you're watching. Much obliged to those who do. I'll be back soon with another video. This is Ghost Readers in the Sky. Yippee-yi-yi.